So here we are again today in Autodesk Fusion, and in the last video I introduced you to a new feature in Fusion called Autodesk Assistance, and we played around with that and designed a simple cube with a bearing pocket for a 6001 bearing. And in that video I talked about a couple of different pieces that I wanted to try to get Autodesk Assistance to design for us, and one was a grommet. Now this grommet is 24.5 millimeters in diameter. It has a 12 millimeter through hole, and it has a groove around the circumference that is about 3 millimeters deep and 4 millimeters wide. And I thought about this. There's a couple of different ways that we could design this. If I was doing this myself, it would be fairly simple. I would probably just extrude a washer and then put a bushing on top of that washer and stack another washer on top. Or I could just do a sketch with my three diameters, the 12 millimeter, the 18 millimeter for the center groove, and the 24.5 millimeter outer diameter, and then just extrude this using offsets. So there's several different ways that you could design this. It's kind of fun trying to figure out what the best way to describe this to Autodesk Assistance so that it uses the minimal amount of steps to design what you're looking for. And so today we're going to try a couple of different ways and just see how it goes. So let's get into Fusion and see what we can come up with. So here we are. So let's just save this. We're going to save this as 24 millimeter grommet. All right, we're going to open up Autodesk Assistance, which is right beside the extensions in the top right hand corner. Now, if you didn't see the last video, Autodesk Assistant can help you with a lot of different things. If you're looking to just maybe find out how to do a particular action, maybe split an object or combined an object, or whatever it happens to be, mirror an object, you can just simply type that in Autodesk Assistance and it will give you instructions on how to do that. So it's good for help with items like that, but you can also use it to design objects. Now it's in the beginning stages, so it's not going to be efficient for most people that have used Autodesk Fusion for many years. However, I have found that it will help you, and I can see how this is going to move forward in the future and really be a big benefit going forward. So let's just start out. We're going to try to do this grommet, and looking at this, I think let's just start by describing it. So it's design a 24.5 millimeter cylinder with a 12 millimeter through hole and let me double check that. I think it's 9.8 millimeters, 9.6 millimeters tall, with a 4 millimeter groove around the centered around the circumference. I don't know if I spelled that right. Anyway, design a 24.5 millimeter cylinder with a 12 millimeter through hole, 9.6 millimeters tall, with a 4 millimeter groove centered around the circumference. All right, so that's the best description I can come up with at the moment. So let's just see what happens with that. It may ask some questions if it has. Well, that was pretty quick. Base cylinder. Now it's going to create the through hole pretty quick. Now this is real time, so I'm actually pretty impressed with how quick it's doing this. Now it's working on the groove. It says it needs to revolve around the z-axis. Okay, wow. All right. That's pretty impressive, really. I mean, the trick I've found is being able to describe the object in a way that Autodesk Assistance can draw it. So let me check these measurements here. So that's 24.5. Okay, let's see what this circumference is. 20.5 diameter. That should be 18. Okay, so let me change the depth of the groove, and Let's check this. 12 millimeters, okay. And let's see what the height is from here to here. 9.6, so that's pretty good. And from here to here, 2.8, so that's good. 2.8, 2. Okay. All right, so the only thing is the center here should be 18 millimeters. So center groove should be 18 millimeters diameter. So it's redrawing the sketch, I guess, and then it's going to revolve it again. All right, so let's check it now. Very good. All right, so you can see that was pretty quick, and all I did was type in a couple of sentences, and it drew 3 sketches. It drew a hole. It extruded and did a revolve. Pretty impressive. I really can't tell you how impressed I am with the way this Autodesk Assistant works. Now, I've been messing with this for several days now, so it's pretty. I'm pretty well versed in what I need to tell it in order to make it design what I actually intend for it to design. So it might get a little frustrating at first for you, but if you just keep at it and think about what you're actually asking it to do, you'll find that it just gets easier and easier. So you can see that was pretty simple. And if I would have just corrected this first statement here, let me copy this. All right, I'm going to tell it to clear it. All right, so it just cleared out everything. So now I'm just going to paste that, what I typed in the first time. Design a 24.5 millimeter cylinder with a 12 millimeter through hole, 9.6 millimeters tall, with a 4 millimeter groove centered around the circumference with a diameter of 18 millimeters. All right, that should take care of everything in one step. So we can see that it drew a sketch for the outer diameter, extruded it, put our through hole in there, and now it's working on our groove, and it's finished. That was pretty quick. I mean, that was really less than 45 seconds. Didn't take very long at all. And let's just double check. 18 millimeter diameter, 24.5, 12 millimeter, and this dimension from here to here should be 4. All right, there we go. Very impressive, very impressive. Going forward, I can see that this Autodesk Assistant is just going to get more helpful, because it's just going to improve. The more people use it, the more it's going to improve. Okay, so let's try to design it completely different. This method seems to work really well, and it was really quick. I'm not sure that we're going to get anything faster, but another way that I would probably design this would be just to stack washers on top of each other. So I don't think I can do it all in one sentence, but let's try. So design a 24.5 millimeter washer with a 12 millimeter hole, 2.8 millimeters thick. So I'd first design the bottom, okay, and then I would, do I want to say stack a bushing on the top, 18 millimeters diameter with a 12 millimeter hole, 4 millimeters tall. See how that turns out. So it's calling it a bushing. Okay, that's good. I guess it'll call it whatever I call it. All right, that looks good. And then I'm going to stack another washer on top of that of the bushing, 24.5 millimeters diameter, 2.8 millimeters thick with a 12 millimeter hole. All right, so you can see that it's basically drawn the same thing, but it was way more complicated to do so. Let's just check our dimensions. 12 millimeter, 24.5, 24.5, 9.6, that's good, 4, and 18. So it drew the exact same piece, same grommet, but you can see down below in our timeline all the different steps that it took to do so. And like I said, there's several different ways that you can design parts. So it's something you need to think about when you're asking Autodesk Assistants to design something for you. Now, it did 3 separate bodies instead of combining these. So we could tell it to join bodies. Let's see what happens. All right, so it's saying that it will use the combined approach in creating a sketch joining via 0 depth extrude. Okay, it's going to just go back and correct everything. So you can see how complicated this is all getting, where the first time we designed it was probably the simplest, fastest approach to get the part that we needed. But it's been real fun and challenging trying to get Autodesk Assistants to just kind of figure out how it operates and how I could use it to get the best result for what I'm trying to do. Is it still thinking? Oh, okay, maybe it asked me a question I didn't see. But see, now it doesn't have my through hole, and I've lost my... So now I want to undo this because obviously it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Whoop, I didn't spell undo right. Let's see what happened. Undone, okay. Try a different approach. So it's asking me if I want to try a different approach. So let's just tell it, try a different approach and see if it just does it on its own. And those of you who are observant can see that I'm not spelling these words correctly when I'm asking these questions, but yet Autodesk Assistants is still able to understand my misspelling. Okay, so it tried a different approach. It made one body, but it didn't put the through hole. So we'll just ask it to place the 12mm hole. Alright, so you can see that we ended up in the same spot, but now we only have one body, so that's good. However, you can see that we still ended up with a lot of different steps and a lot to design this one little part. So the first method was really the best way to do it, and you end up with a lot less work for the computer, for Fusion and for yourself, and it was a lot quicker. So let's clear this, start over, and again let's design a 24.5mm cylinder with a 12mm through hole, 9.6mm tall, 4mm groove centered around the circumference with a diameter of 18mm. And there we have it, about 40 seconds. And you can see we have about half as many steps, and we ended up with the one body that we wanted. So there you have it, guys. Pretty interesting. Now, I encourage you, the next time you're in Fusion, to use Autodesk Assistant to try to help you design your part. I think the more we use it, the smarter it gets, the easier it is to use, and the more beneficial it's going to be to the whole community. So I encourage you to get on Fusion, give it a try, and see if you can use it to your benefit. Guys, if you're new to my channel and you're just tuning in, click on that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Also click on that notification bell. That way when I post a new video like this one, if it's something you're interested in, you can stop by and check it out. As always, please feel free to ask questions, make suggestions, and leave comments. Thumbs up if you like the video. Please subscribe, and most importantly, be safe.